Hello. Today is Sunday, August 4th, 2024. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. In this video, I will provide an update on the forecast related to Tropical Storm Debby. Some indirect effects are beginning to be felt along the west coast of Florida, and it is forecasted to strengthen into a hurricane before moving over northern Florida and southern Georgia. It is important for residents and visitors in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia and Florida to stay informed about this forecast, as Tropical Storm Debby promises to bring heavy rainfall with accumulations that could exceed 14 inches over the next 5 days. This will likely cause serious flooding issues along the coasts of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and northern Florida. On a related note, I briefly wanted to mention that we are closely monitoring a strong tropical wave approaching the Lesser Antilles. Although this system has not yet been marked by the National Hurricane Center with potential for cyclonic development, it is possible that in the coming days, this area will be identified as having potential to develop into at least a tropical depression. If you want more details about this tropical wave and its effects on the Lesser Antilles, I invite you to watch a video I recorded yesterday. However, today I will record a new video to update the forecast of this tropical wave and others that will emerge from Africa in the coming days. Now, let's focus on the Gulf of Mexico region. Zooming in on the infrared satellite image, we can see that Tropical Storm Debby is generating strong thunderstorms, but they remain to the right and southeast of the circulation. The center is approximately located in this area, indicating that the system is still not very organized. This is due to dry air interfering from the northeast and west quadrants, displacing the rain and strongest winds to the right of the center of circulation. This image shows the center of circulation located in this area, and in orange, the tropical storm force winds that remain to the right of the circulation. This is important because as the center moves northward over the next 24 hours, these tropical storm force winds will affect the west coast of the Florida Peninsula. This includes cities from the Big Bend to Cape Coral. So, if you live along the coast of these sectors, including the city of Tampa, be aware that some tropical storm force winds will be felt today. In fact, looking at the Doppler radar animation at this hour, 7:15 a.m. local time in Florida, you can see that some outer bands are currently moving over Cape Coral and will continue their trajectory northward, affecting areas of St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Sarasota. So, once again, the entire west coast of Florida will experience rain and tropical storm force winds today and tomorrow. The trajectory models continue to project that Debby will move northward. It is anticipated that during the morning and afternoon hours on Monday, the center of circulation will move over the Florida Big Bend. This means the center of circulation will remain over the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico for at least 36 to 48 hours, which should be enough for it to strengthen into a hurricane. Then, the models project that Debby will take a more east-northeast turn. Between Tuesday and Wednesday, the center of circulation is expected to move out over the Atlantic waters, where it may briefly reorganize before re-entering over land in either South Carolina or Georgia. The good news is that the time it will remain over the waters east of Georgia seems to be limited, possibly between 12 to 24 hours, which should limit the time it has to intensify again. This morning's projections indicate that Debby will make landfall in South Carolina or Georgia as a tropical storm. However, regardless of how strong it is when it moves over North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, the expected rainfall accumulations in the region will be significant, with over 12 inches of rain expected over the next 5 to 7 days. Here, you can see the intensity projection. Over the next 24 hours, the models project a rapid intensification process, so we cannot rule out that once the circulation consolidates closer to the center of circulation, this cyclone could begin a rapid intensification process before reaching the Florida Big Bend. When the center of circulation moves over northern Florida and southern Georgia, it is projected to weaken back into a tropical storm. When it moves out over the Atlantic waters for a short period, it may slightly re-intensify before moving back over Georgia or South Carolina. Between Monday and Thursday, the models project it will be a tropical storm as it moves through the southeastern United States. Here we have the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. It is projected that during the early hours of Monday, it will become a Category 1 hurricane. It will then move over the Florida Big Bend around noon on Monday, where a hurricane warning is in effect. The center will move over northern Florida and southeastern Georgia until at least the early hours of Wednesday, when it is projected to move back out over the waters, this time in the southwestern Atlantic. After a brief period over the Atlantic waters, where it may reorganize slightly, the National Hurricane Center projects the center will move back overland, this time over South Carolina. This means the center will move very slowly through this region, affecting it with heavy rainfall for at least 4 consecutive days, from Tuesday to Friday. Let's look at the latest projections from the global models. The American model projects it will reach Category 1 hurricane status, moving over the Florida Big Bend on Monday morning, then maintaining a trajectory over southeastern Georgia, moving out over the Atlantic waters on Wednesday morning, and eventually moving back over Georgia on Thursday morning or afternoon. There is still some uncertainty about whether the center will then move over South Carolina, or return to areas of Georgia between Friday and Sunday. The GFS model dissipates the circulation over Alabama and Mississippi. The European model shows a different scenario. Initially, it aligns with the American model, with a Category 1 hurricane moving over the Florida Big Bend on Monday morning, coinciding exactly with the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center. On Monday afternoon and night, it will move over southeastern Georgia. On Tuesday, the center of circulation could move out over the Atlantic waters, slightly strengthening and eventually moving over South Carolina and North Carolina on Thursday morning as a strong tropical storm. Between Friday and Sunday, it could move over North Carolina, Maryland, and Delaware. This shows a significant difference between the projections of the two best models. Therefore, it is important for the entire southeastern United States to closely monitor its evolution. Let's talk a bit about the effects that will be felt in these states. Starting with Florida and the wind gusts, you can see that today and tomorrow some tropical storm force winds will affect from Cape Coral to the Big Bend, with wind gusts between 35 to 50 miles per hour. This includes the city of Tampa and surrounding areas. However, the strongest winds will be felt along the Big Bend coast and nearby areas of Tallahassee, where wind gusts between 75 to 80 miles per hour could be recorded. On Tuesday morning, the center of circulation will move over southeastern Georgia and near southern South Carolina. All these areas can experience tropical storm force winds between 35 to 55 miles per hour, and in some coastal areas of Georgia and South Carolina, near hurricane force wind gusts may be felt. Tropical storm force winds will be felt in this region from Tuesday, extending until at least Thursday or Friday. In terms of rainfall, this animation of accumulated rainfall projections shows that over 14 inches of rain are expected in the Big Bend and northern Florida areas. Near Tallahassee, up to 16 inches of rain could fall in a period of 48 hours, which, if this projection is met, would cause severe flooding. So, take this into consideration when finishing preparations. If you live in a flood-prone area in northern Florida and southern Georgia, you should move to a safer location further north. Between Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, the GFS model projects that from Monday to Thursday over 12 inches of rain may fall, with some areas accumulating up to 16 inches of rain. This band of intense rainfall will develop across eastern North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So, if you live in flood-prone areas in these sectors, stay very attentive to updates from the National Weather Service, and consider that significant and dangerous flooding is expected in the region this week. Well, that's all for this forecast update. This afternoon or evening, I will record a new video to update what's happening with the future Hurricane Debby. To make sure you don't miss any of these videos, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Go to the bottom of the video, click the red button that says subscribe, and then click the bell to get notifications when I upload new videos. Well, I'll say goodbye for now until the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Goodbye.